There is a particular kind of pain that doesn't announce itself loudly. It doesn't arrive with a dramatic confrontation or a single, shattering moment. Instead, it seeps in quietly, through a promise casually broken, a secret carelessly shared, a feeling dismissed just when you needed someone to hold it gently. These are the small betrayals. And while the world rarely pauses to acknowledge them, your nervous system remembers every single one. If you have ever caught yourself reading too deeply into a text message, pulling away just when something good was beginning, or feeling a wave of anxiety when someone says, "I'll always be there for you," this is for you. What you are experiencing is not paranoia. It is not emotional immaturity. It is the very logical, very human consequence of having been let down in ways that were too small for others to take seriously, but too significant for you to simply forget. Trust is not built in grand gestures. It is built in the ordinary, everyday moments where someone chooses to show up, where they do what they said they would do, where they protect your vulnerability instead of weaponizing it, where they prove, again and again, that you are safe with them. And trust is not destroyed in grand betrayals alone. It erodes, slowly, quietly, one small letdown at a time. Think about the first time someone you loved broke a promise that they probably forgot about entirely. A parent who said they would come to your recital and didn't. A friend who swore they would keep your secret and let it slip. A partner who told you your feelings were too much when all you needed was to be heard. In isolation, these moments might seem trivial. To an outside observer, they might not even register as betrayal. But to you, to the version of you that was still learning whether the world was a safe place, they were lessons. And the lesson, however unintentionally taught, was this: people cannot be fully trusted. This is where psychology steps in to offer something remarkable. Not judgment, but understanding. The brain is a pattern recognition machine. From childhood, it is constantly collecting data about the people around us and drawing conclusions about what to expect from the world. When small betrayals accumulate, especially in early relationships with caregivers, friends, or early romantic partners, the brain begins to build a schema, a kind of internal blueprint that says closeness is risky. Vulnerability leads to pain. Trusting someone fully is simply too dangerous. In adulthood, the schema doesn't disappear. It disguises itself. It shows up as the tendency to self-sabotage relationships right before they get serious. It looks like testing people, pushing them away to see if they will come back, or withholding parts of yourself to see if they will ask for more. It sounds like the inner voice that whispers, "This is too good to last," every time life feels steady. These are not personality flaws. These are protective strategies, armor built by a younger version of you who needed protection and found no one offering it. One of the most profound and painful ironies of trust issues born from small betrayals is that they often make the very thing you want, genuine deep connection, feel impossible to reach. You crave intimacy, but the moment someone gets close enough to actually matter, the alarm bells go off. Because the closer someone is, the more power they have to hurt you. And your nervous system, trained by years of small wounds, would rather you retreat than risk another one. This shows up in relationships in deeply specific ways. You might struggle to believe compliments, assuming there is a motive behind them. You might overanalyze silences, reading abandonment into someone simply being tired. You might find it easier to end things yourself rather than wait for the inevitable moment when the other person does. You might build walls so high and so expertly constructed that even you have forgotten there is a door. And then you wonder, quietly, painfully, why no one ever really knows you. What is important to understand here is that these behaviors are not evidence that something is wrong with you. They are evidence that something was done to you. There is a profound difference between those two things, and the journey toward trust begins the moment you start to see that distinction clearly. The psychology of small betrayals also reveals something important about the nature of emotional memory. Researchers in the field of interpersonal neurobiology have long understood that the body keeps a record of emotional experiences. particularly those that occurred when we were young, when our nervous systems were most impressionable. A betrayal experienced at 8 years old does not simply fade when you turn 30. It lives in the way your jaw tightens when someone cancels plans at the last minute. It lives in the spike of anxiety you feel when your phone goes unanswered for too long. The body does not know the difference between then and now. It only knows the feeling, and it learned long ago that this feeling signals danger. This is why healing trust issues is not simply a matter of deciding to trust more. It is a slower, more tender process than that. It involves learning to differentiate between the people who have earned your guardedness and the people who are genuinely trying to show up for you. It requires developing what psychologists call earned security, a form of trust that doesn't come automatically from early life, but is built deliberately through repeated experience of safe relationships, including the relationship you cultivate with yourself. Because here is what is often overlooked in conversations about trust issues. The most foundational relationship that small betrayals damage is not the one you have with other people. It is the one you have with yourself. When your feelings were repeatedly minimized, you learned not to trust them. When your needs were overlooked, you learned to doubt whether they were valid. When your hopes were disappointed often enough, you learned to stop hoping too loudly. Rebuilding trust then means returning to yourself first, learning to listen to your own feelings again, to honor your own needs, to believe that what you feel is real and worth paying attention to. This might look like allowing yourself to feel disappointment without immediately numbing it. It might look like naming your needs in a relationship, even when it feels terrifyingly vulnerable. It might look like sitting with uncertainty, letting a relationship unfold without rushing to either cement it or destroy it, and discovering slowly that you can survive not knowing the ending. It might look like finding a therapist or a trusted person who can offer you a consistent, safe experience of being held without being dropped, and allowing that experience to quietly rewrite the blueprint your younger self drew in pencil so many years ago. The most compassionate thing you can understand about yourself right now is this: your distrust was never a character defect. It was a character defense. It kept you safe when safety was not offered freely. It was intelligent. It was necessary. And now, only when you are ready, you get to decide which parts of that armor still serve you and which parts have simply grown too heavy to carry. Healing does not mean forgetting what happened or pretending the small betrayals were insignificant. It means carrying them differently, not as proof that you are unworthy of love, but as evidence of your resilience. It means choosing one deliberate moment at a time to extend a careful, courageous degree of trust to others and above all to yourself. You were not broken by the small betrayals. You were shaped by them. And you are the only one with the power to decide what shape comes next.